We are going to look at Google Classroom class settings, and this is probably something that you don't even look at, and you are going to be amazed at all the really cool things you can do with the settings. So we're going to go to my Google Classroom, and we're going to be working in this particular class. And the gear is right up here for the class settings. There's a couple different settings in Google Classroom. So when you're first setting up your class, this is what you'd fill in. So you'd obviously have your class name, and if you wanted to add some additional stuff in, you could. I think probably certain schools, if there's different sections of the same class, it might be easier. But mine, I don't have to worry about this one. And then if I scroll down a little bit, I have another section which is just the general, and then the grading is the last section. And so I just did a video on the grading, so it is out there. And this time we're focusing on this general section. And you can see, very exciting, Google Meets is now integrated, so I'm thrilled. So this is a way that you can get your class code, and you can display it. Obviously, you can just display it from the main screen, so you don't really need to worry about that. You could copy it if you were going to email it to someone. You can reset it, and you can disable it. Let's say you didn't want anyone else to join your class for some reason, you can disable that. And if I disable it, no one else can get into my class. So my class code is disabled right now, and then I can turn it back on. I can enable it. So that's if for some reason you're having trouble with students joining in your class that are not supposed to be there, you can disable once you have your students. So that's an option. So this one, stream, it says students can post and comment. So if you looked at the different options, then you can make that the students can only comment, or only teachers can post and comment. And I base this depending upon the age group and depending upon the students themselves. And so I like to give them the option to be able to post and comment, but if it's getting unruly and they're just posting things that don't make a lot of sense, then I would take away the privilege. But it's up to you, teacher's choice. And the next option is classwork on the stream. So it says here the default is show condensed notifications. And so I'm just going to close this so you can see what the condensed notifications are. So you can see these are the notifications, and they're sort of like squished in a little bit. But if I click and I go to my instructions, there's actually, a lot of information on here. So they're just going to get the smaller notifications from that. And let me just go back to the main page, back to the settings. But what you might not have noticed before, if you click on that, you can show attachments in detail, so that would make it bigger, but you can also hide notifications. So I'm going to hit save for a second. I am not a lover of the stream, because the stream gets really just filled, and it's hard to follow sometimes when there's so much stuff going on. And so these ones, so now it's just true announcements that are going on here. And then most of my stuff is still in my classwork. So those important things that I want them to know right away are going to be here. But in the classwork where I have it organized by topic, it's going to look a little bit differently. So that's, again, in the stream, you can go through and you can reduce the amount of things that the kids can see by hiding the notifications. So those condensed notifications, and this is the attachments and details, so that I'll show you what that one looks like too. But again, I hope this is encouraging you to play and just to click and to see what happens. And so this is like now the stream, and it's really big. It has all the big assignments. It has all the announcements, and they've made them very large. So that's probably my least favorite of all. I wouldn't pick that one. And so you can just decide. I try and direct my kids just to go. So I show the condensed notifications, but maybe it might be nice just to hide them even. So that's for you to think about. The deleted items, only teachers can see the deleted items anyway. I never want to see my deleted items because I deleted them, and I only delete what I don't want. So if you want to turn it on, again, you could just click and the slider would move over, and I want to turn it off, so I click and the slider is off. This Guardian Summaries is a really interesting one. So right now, if a parent was in my Google Classroom, so if they added in So a parent, and there's another video out on this too, a parent cannot see everything you see. They only get email summaries and that's it. And they actually give you a link here to see a copy of the email summaries. So that's the only thing that parents can see. And you can tell when a parent is added in. If I click on the people button, so right here you can see my name is here. So there is STEM student has a guardian and it is me. And so I'm going to get email summaries in my inbox, which I do receive. And I picked daily summary. So parents can only get summaries, only emails. They can either get them daily, every weekday after the school day's over, or on a weekly basis, and that's it. And that's so the parents can ask questions and can get more involved. And again, there's another video on that, but they can't see the same thing as the students, nor would you want them to. So this just turns on the email summary. So if I turn it on, I get this message. So it's like, okay, do you want to add to the email summaries? And so guardians receive a summary for their students' work and class notifications, and they're asking me if I want to add all of my classes. So I can either uncheck that for all of them, for not adding all of them, or I can just hit yes and just add. And so now all of my classes that I teach will be on email summaries if a parent has requested to be on. So that means I don't have to add them in. They could already have been added in by another teacher. So sometimes if you look at your class lists and you see parent names there, then you know that they have been invited or that they're in your classroom. So sometimes if you look, it'll say the word invited afterwards. And if it says that, that means someone's put their email address in and the parents haven't clicked to accept it. If it just says add teacher or add a parent, then that means that they haven't clicked on it at all. So that's what that email summaries is. And then the last thing is this meet button. So right now I clicked, there was a button here and that you could click to turn the meet on, and I did that. You could copy the link or you can reset the link. So there was a button here, and I have a whole different presentation about that, which I'll put into our Google Classroom. And then this just makes it visible to students. So if I clicked that on, what would happen is it's going to put the link at the top of my stream. So see, here's the Meet link up here. So I hope that you enjoyed learning more about the class settings and how you can make changes. And as you can see with my clean stream page now, I went in and I hid notifications. And I had some notifications that were back in November, so I deleted them out. I don't want my kids to see those. And now it's a nice clean setting. So as a student, if I go in, there's nothing here on the stream. So if there was an important announcement that I wanted them to know about this week, it would appear here. And this is going to encourage my kids to go right to the classwork and to focus on their topics. And so that's going to help them with their organization. But obviously, every person has a different way of looking at Google Classroom. So I hope that you play around and you make it work for you and your students. Thanks for watching.